Snow White, the live-action remake of the original film from Disney, starring Rachel Zegler, is not free from controversy. In fact, it might be one of the most poorly received films prior to release in the history of cinema. 1.2 million dislikes on the YouTube trailer, and now professors are even weighing in, telling all of you out there that the real reason this movie sucks is because of dwarfs. Yeah, we'll explain right now. Hello folks, welcome back to the channel that, well, we love everyone out there, and it doesn't matter your verticality. No matter what you might be or who you might be, no matter where you come from, folks, we like you. And we hope that you like us right back. Consider clicking the like button as we dive into today's content, where we've got a panel ready to talk about a new article that is making waves, which says that the only way to include dwarfs into society is to exclude dwarfs from society. Well, at least from entertainment. It's the kind of nut jobbery you just won't find many places except the internet. And folks, we're not going to let it go away, because we are going to waylay this piece of putrid poetry from a professor who says that any type of dwarf portrayed in a movie is a bad kind of dwarf portrayed in a movie. Panel, let's get started right now. I'd like to show how Disney is still directly in woke. So Ubisoft, they're getting away from it as best they can. Well, we would hope for. Right, exactly, Smash. I'm remembering what you said, and I believe what you said. I think you're exactly right. But Disney's still in the middle of it. I want to show you all this before we have to say goodbye to some of our panelists. This goes down as some of the most impressive trite of the week, and that's really saying something. It's out of theconversation.com. It says why the changing representation of dwarfism in Disney's live-action Snow White remake is so important. Let me read just a little bit of this, and you all tell me what you think about it.
Here's the thing, by the way. Back in the day, I would read one of these articles and be like, oh, this is curious. Now, the first thing I think is, let me go look at the author and research them and what they've written in the past, and who, like, I don't even care about what the article is. I care about who the author is.
All right, Smash, get on. You need to find out who Aaron Pritchard is, senior lecturer in disability studies, Liverpool Hope University. All right, here's the nut jobbery we have. The upcoming release of Disney's live-action remake of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, currently scheduled for March 2025, has been surrounded by controversy. So much so that the film's trailer has received over 1 million dislikes on YouTube. Now, what this author means by controversy is that nobody wants to watch this. In particular, many fans have taken umbrage with the fact that the computer-generated imagery will be used for the characters of the Seven Dwarfs, now renamed the Miners, rather than having them played by dwarf actors. Now, this is new to me. Jonas, had you heard that these are called miners now instead of dwarfs? Because that's worse. Because
which kind of miners
Snow White and the Seven Miners is worse.
Well, they are miners in the original.
Yeah, but it sounds like miners, like M-I-N-O-R-S.
It sounds like kids.
Disney has had a minor issue.
So it's par for the course for them.
As to my mind, unless changes are made, it would be better not to release a live-action remake of Snow White in the first place. Okay, agreed there. Although they're $500 million into this.
Here's a humble brag coming. Yeah.
My doctoral research has shown that it's common for people with dwarfism to experience mockery influenced by the representation of dwarfism in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Oh, such a lie.
It has nothing to do with them actually being dwarfs.
Right, but if the film is to go ahead, CGI is a better choice than to cast real people with dwarfism. Which means, by the way, this is a defense of Disney. It's to say that if you're going to do this movie, make sure you don't have dwarfs play dwarfs. And what that is to say is the only way to be inclusive of dwarfs, that is people who actually have dwarfism, the only way to be inclusive of them is to utterly exclude them. Folks, we could go into this article more and more. It gets crazier and crazier.
Real quick, just doing some brief overview on Aaron Pritchard. This is, like you said, a senior lecturer in disability and education. Unfortunately, what's transpired in the recent years is professionals in their space used to preach the professionalism. And I feel like it's kind of turned into a financial thing for them to create issues so that they can resolve them to justify their existence.
Sure.
And I feel like
they're arsonists and firefighters at the same time.
Exactly. And I'm just getting the vibe reading this self-proclamation of who Dr. Erin Pritchard is, and I am a lecturer of special education needs in School of Social Science. It sounds like she's trying to create a problem that doesn't exist here, just so people will perpetuate the madness. And unfortunately, some of these people have found that to be very lucrative. I don't.
Let me ask this: I thought that people loved
a witness for hire.
I thought
Are
the
you
people
suing
loved.
a school? Call me. I'll give you expert testimony for fun and profit.
I thought people loved the dwarf characters. I didn't think that they belittled them. I thought they loved them, that they were genuinely good and great people.
Whoa. Belittled them? Excuse me.
I have fallen into a pun
minimized
situation.
Their humanity.
Minimized. Hold on.
Now we've proven the case of this doctor.
This is the pharmaceutical grift all over again. I mean, we've been calling out the grifters for a while. Matt Walsh just did it in a brilliant mockumentary.
I saw that last week on my birthday. It was amazing.
Am I a Racist is brilliant. But my opinion of it has only gone up over time as I've watched this play out in various professions, as you just pointed out here. So, but when you look at these things, now your mind is so tuned into it that you see it everywhere, and this is just another way that it's
the Matrix, man. You can read the Matrix now.
Yeah.
All right. So here's a question, then, guys. Let's follow the thought process of this professor. If this is the case, was Peter Dinklage, was he offensive in everything he's played a dwarf in? Because he's played someone of a small stature in every single thing he's been in. Was he thereby not taken seriously, and should he have been excluded from every single thing he's been in because of his verticality?
Well, it's the same thing. They don't want you to see color. They don't want you to see gender. They don't want you to see height. They just want everyone to be ubiquitous and the same, and it makes no sense.
Except that now they want you to see all those things.
Oh, when it applies and makes sense for them, yes.
Right.
But if the other side is doing it, then they're in the wrong.
When I grew up, and I'm gonna take a swing, and maybe when Kadish was growing up, and maybe when you were growing up, Smash, we grew up with just our friends. They might
and a bicycle. Don't leave the bicycle and the dog out of this.
We did, but we grew up with our friends, and our friends were every shade of the rainbow, and you didn't care, right? And you weren't surprised to know that one of your friends who happened to be a theater kid was gay. That wasn't a surprise. So it's just like, all right, and so when you're growing up in that world, none of this DEI bologna sausage works, because all of this behavior has to be taught. They are teaching it now in the extreme, all the way from elementary school all the way up through college now. They are indoctrinating you into these things that didn't matter before. We had the best possible world, and now we're running the entirely opposite direction. Somebody tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're spot on. Am I racist? You just gave a summary of Am I Racist, by the way. That is spot on.
To represent the other viewpoint here. So there's a show on Disney Plus right now called Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. And there are no white people in at least the first season of that show that are not a supervillain. Other than the Jewish people that own the bagel shop down the street, which is, I don't think they read as white according to the people who make the show. But you would think that there was some kind of bomb that went off at a school in that show for the number of disabled people and children that
just
are on
when you thought we couldn't find another way to be demonetized.
If you watch the show, the number of disabled people and children in that show, you would think that this was happening in some far off country that is currently in a geopolitical conflict. Like there are two ways to go when you do this representation thing, either completely excluding them or putting them all in it. And they refuse to be like, well, let's just act like normal people about this, or to just say that, well, this is a part of the story, therefore we're going to do it. I don't think anyone is actually mad about the dwarves being included in the film or excluded in the film. I think the thing that's more frustrating is the people who are trying to use it as some kind of moral gavel to try to beat people down with it. And then
I disagree a little bit. I think
Jonas,
finish your point, Jonas. Sorry, Jonas was the same word.
No, I'm pretty much done. But
I was going to say, I think the people that are hurt by this are the little people who didn't get a job, who were actually supposedly up for a job.
That's the point. I had the opportunity to interview Hornswoggle from the WWE, and he was in Muppets Most Wanted. So he had, working relationship with Disney, and he was livid about this. He went on Piers Morgan to talk about it. He basically said that what happened is Peter Dinklage gets every single dwarf role that comes around in a movie, because it's very rare that there's more than one dwarf role available in any project. So Peter Dinklage soaks it all up, and he kicked the ladder down behind him. And what's happened here is, I feel like with a lot of these, celebrities, you learn how to weaponize woke for your own needs, and that's what Peter Dinklage has done. He's weaponized outrage.
That's communism.
Yes, champagne communism. Yeah.
So I have a thought on this. This is my theory, and I'll show you guys this just for an update. Indeed, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the trailer is at 1.2 million dislikes now. So 200,000 more dislikes than what was talked about in the article by the professor.
Can I just say before you even go further on this, sure. I can't. This is not a pun on her height. I can't look past Snow White and how she acts herself, how she acts by herself in public, to even see the dwarfs. Like, I can't even look past her. Like, it's
no.
It's an automatic no from that. Everything else, I'm just like, I don't even care, because I can't get past.
It's a perfect storm of despair for Disney when it comes to this film. But I'll say this.
Weird.
I think, Zegler, I think that what's happening here is, I think there's going to be a defense. And perhaps this is the opening salvo to say that this movie was review bombed, and it was mass hated because people are against those with dwarfism. Oh, and they're also racist and all these horrible things. I think they're already getting their defenses ready. So I know many of you have to go. We'll go ahead and wrap this conversation. But if anybody has one final comment on the topic, we'll take that, and then we'll prepare
short
for
comment,
Super Chat.
please. We have no time.
I just want to say that I think a bigger problem in this scenario is more about the article itself. I used to write for various publications, and the way that you'd get your stuff published and get paid for it was you'd have to pitch to the editors. And if it was just like a boring little old thing, they'd be like, we're not interested. But if you came to them and be like, hey, let's talk about how Disney's Snow White is, against little people, or like wherever the case may be, like, that's a way to kind of get yourself published on a major publication and give you credibility so you can write a book and do speaking engagements and blah, blah, blah. Like this girl who did her doctorate on this subject.
She's the next D'Angelo for dwarfism, right?
Yeah. And basically this publication wants to publish controversial, stupid stuff like this so that people will actually bother reading their website, as opposed to just like ignoring it and not getting any ad revenue and so on and so forth. So I think there's a bigger issue in the media, where in the online world, it's all about outrage and clickbait to get people to visit the site so that they can like actually make money, and they don't care about the facts of the matter, or how psychologically damaging some of this stuff can be, and so on and so forth. So I actually think that the article being written in the first place is the actual major issue here. I just wanted to point
and perhaps it's part of a larger paradigm that we need to begin discussing, because it's creating disgusting coverage of stuff that otherwise might be subject to sanity. Folks, it's time to bid you adieu, but we hope that you will help us anew, and that is, we're only asking you click that like button. Share, subscribe, click it, stick it to those algorithms. It is the notification bell, and drop a comment down below. And oh, by the way, have you gone the way of thatparkplace.com? www.thatparkplace.com. It's the website that if you're not yet bookmarked to, well, you should be. A bastion of truth and knowledge when it comes to entertainment and everything that's going on. Go check it out today, folks. We would love to have you over there as well. All right, we are getting ready to head out, but do not fret, for we will put out 4 more videos tomorrow, so long as the good Lord allows. And we believe that probably, just might, happen. All right, until the next time we get to share time with you, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.